Hey friends, as always, Elliot here. Welcome to my channel where we discuss true crime cases. Let me know how guys you're doing. I hope that you had a great week. Let me know in the comment section. Today's story is both heartbreaking and baffling. A 21-year-old has gone missing, leaving her family desperate and grasping for answers. Answers that maybe someone out there can have. This is the mysterious disappearance of Zyanya Valora. It seemed like another warm and soft summer night at the Valora's house. Zyanya stayed up late after her parents went to bed as usual. In the early morning hours of June the 25th, she is thought to have sneaked out from her residence in Miramonte, a suburb in the Ojai Valley, California. The timing here isn't super accurate. Sticking to some reports, she may have left at 2:30 a.m. in the morning, while others say at 1 a.m. And this assumption is based on their family dog's behavior. In fact, the dog barked, but the family didn't check immediately. The mom was awakened by that. Anyway, it was in the dead of the night, basically. She was probably barefoot and sporting a white shirt and grayish color shirts. Later in the day, her parents thought that she was still sleeping as usual. On the wall, it's pretty common for teens and young people to stay up late at night, right? And Zyanya was no exception. But little did they know that she was not in her room, she wasn't home. Her family reported her missing, plus an extensive search of the area is being placed, but with no concrete results. Where did Zyanya go? Was she alone? Did she get lost? Was she abducted? And if so, by who? Is she still alive? These are a few of the questions the family wants an answer to. I felt heartbroken watching the family during an interview. They were distraught, devastated, especially Zenya's mom, Damaris. As always, let me introduce you to this sweet and young girl. Zenya was 21 when she vanished, a kind and sweet girl dreaming of becoming a veterinarian. She's passionate about animals and nature, in particular water. She loves water from rivers to lakes, beaches. Watching movies is another great passion of hers. In her teenage years, she was diagnosed with autism. Autism is a developmental condition which affects social interaction and communication, being characterized by repetitive behaviors and restrictive interests. Some people may experience increased sensitivity to sounds, lights, texture, and smells, while others may find it difficult to make eye contact and engage in reciprocal conversations. Some autistic individuals are nonverbal, others may be very direct and blunt at times. People of all ages, genders, and ethnicities can be autistic, and the rate of autism has steadily grown over the last 3 decades. It's very important to remember that autistic people are very different from each other. As said previously, Zyanya was also diagnosed with Turner syndrome, a genetic condition affecting females in which one X chromosome is missing or partially altered, leading to characteristics like short stature, infertility, and potential heart and kidney issues in the long run. We are talking about a syndrome which has a very negative impact on your daily life. As far as siblings, she does have a younger and an older brother, and back at elementary slash middle school, when she was only a kid, she shared the same friends with her younger brother, and this helped her feel safer and protected. Unfortunately, at middle school, she was bullied by very nasty pieces of, well, you name it, because that's what they actually are. And this transitional phase kind of impacted her life later on. I do know how hard it is to handle such delicate situations, and I don't absolutely blame it on her parents. Sometimes it's hard to get in control of everything. Maybe they needed to understand her. It's a very complex topic to tackle, also because she didn't talk with her parents about that. They weren't in the know. On the other hand, I would rather focus more on the school she was in. They should have done much more to prevent all this, like helping and protecting her. What a shame they didn't care for her well being. The high school years seem to have taken a toll on her. That's when her anxiety issues exploded. She didn't feel like going to school due to the environment she was in and what she had endured, and so she would panic. Just to give you guys an idea of how serious the situation really was. When on her way to school, Xenia once put herself in the middle of the highway, and her mom was notified by the sheriff about what was happening. Her mom switched over to working from home so that she would be able to get Xenia the help she needed. Also, because she wasn't put into a regular high school after what she'd been facing as a teen, of course. For a few years, things were steady. Xenia had found a balance among the ups and downs of life. At a certain point, she stopped attending school. She dropped out of high school in February 2024. I feel for her, especially her mental state. It must have been too much for her to handle. The pandemic had left a scar on many of us. Consider that the family had kind of scheduled, if we can say so, activities on Fridays. So basically, Xenia and her mom would be going grocery shopping. It was an occasion for her to be outside and savoring the day, spending quality time with her family. But after the dropout, she changed it. She isolated herself. She would spend most of her time at home. We can say that she set up a comfort zone from which it was very challenging to come out from. Her parents would push her to spend more time outside. Some online articles speculated upon the fact she has schizophrenia, but to her family's knowledge, there had been no diagnosis. Xenia's psychiatrist prescribed her a medication which is also used for schizophrenia, though. Having become an adult, Xenia was now able to make her own decisions, but this led to some disagreement with her family. Like, for instance, her medical appointments, she would cancel them at times. If this wasn't enough, things were going downhill for her. She even reached a point of locking herself in her room, so it was a very serious situation. In 2022, Xenia had also developed an eating disorder, so their parents brought her to a psychiatric clinic. Upon coming back home, it seemed like she was doing fairly better. For a few years, the family would be able to get the situation by, but then it worsened again. In the months leading up to her disappearance, she wasn't the same Xenia. She would even refuse to take a shower. Her mental health was struggling, and of course, her parents were there to help her get back on track. But this wasn't an easy task for them. She wanted some space. Back on the faithful June the 25th, the day she disappeared, I do know the majority of you would think, why didn't the parents check on her earlier in the morning? Remember, they last saw her on June the 24th in the evening. Well, the mom explained that Xenia was a creature of habit. She was used to staying up late at night. In fact, she would usually go to sleep at 2 or even 3 a.m. and wake up at 1 p.m. So that's why they didn't think much of it in the first place. You would come up and say, but she had some mental stuff going on, and yes, but she did have her habits. For instance, didn't want to eat with her family. Upon coming back home from the store, which was probably at 11 a.m. on June the 25th, her mom, Damaris, noticed that Xenia wasn't home because she was looking to install an air conditioning unit in the back of the house, and of course she went past her window from the outside, and it was open. Looking through the curtains, she realized her daughter was not there. She immediately called her husband, who was at work, and tried to look for her in the neighborhood, but she wasn't there either. At this moment, I'm really trying to picture the situation. You literally come home, just picking a location where to put your AC unit, and realize your daughter is not where she's supposed to be at that time, at home. I literally go numb, guys, especially because Xenia has special needs, of course, and this is by far a delicate case. I feel so bad for their family at this point. Taking a step backward, it wasn't the first time she wandered from home. A similar episode had already occurred back in 2020. Xenia left in the middle of the night, and family notified the Ventura County Sheriff's Office. She was sleeping when they found her in a Baptist church nearby the next morning, after some neighbors had reported to have seen her in the area. She was just carrying the Bible with her. I asked myself why she wound up at that church. Maybe the Valors were churchgoers or whatever, but Damaris, Xenia's mom, said that they didn't attend church, even though they were religious, and in the last months, Xenia kind of developed some sort of interest in religion, despite the fact that she wouldn't tell her family which religion. Damaris told CBS News that Xenia would pray multiple times a day and that this was a big part of her life. One specific detail is that she started having only a meal per day and fasting on Saturdays. The difference, though, is that this time in 2024 was different. No one saw her, no clues, no footage, and no solid leads to follow. This is so baffling to me, also because she doesn't have either the skills or the means to survive away from home for that long. Damaris and Gabriel Valora reported her daughter missing to the Ventura County Sheriff's Office, and fortunately the police acted quickly. Damaris tried to stay calm the first day as law enforcement searched the area, but she didn't say anything, hopeful that they could recover her at the end of that day. The search and rescue team scoured the area for 5 long days, starting of course from the church where she was found the last time, but she wasn't there. According to Damaris, law enforcement used every resource available to locate her daughter, including helicopters and K9 units. The searching team operated in the dead of summer because Zyanya went missing at the end of June. Captain Trina Newman, who led the search, explained that approximately 10,300 acres were searched, so 1,700 miles covered on foot, covering difficult terrain. Remember, Zyanya went missing at night, so chances are she may have been trapped and ended up in areas which were not utterly accessible. She was immediately labeled as a person at risk due to her mental health issues, and being targeted as an endangered person made it possible to send notifications to all law enforcement statewide. There have been some sightings of Xenia, and the family tried to follow these tips, but again, all big dead ends. Since chances are some neighbors might have been in possession of a doorbell camera footage, the family tried to ask around if Xenia were captured on video, and it turned out the neighbor next to the Valora's door gave the police the footage, but nothing of interest came out, just a big dead end. No footage examined led to a concrete hint as to where she might have gone. Miramonte is a quiet neighborhood in OJ, a city in Ventura County, California. It's located in the OJ Valley, and the area offers various hiking trails, packed with woods, ranches, and even a river and a lake, all of which were close to Xenia's residence. That's an important detail, of course, because given the fact she loved nature and water, maybe she could have ended up there, but all of these areas were searched. The Valora family tried to give a rationale as what might have happened to Xenia, and according to her mom, she probably went on a walk or something, but she was planning on coming back at some point. In fact, she was barefoot. Xenia left her home and the window was found open, so the question lingers. Did she use the window to exit? The window was roughly 4 feet from the ground, and given the fact she wasn't super tall, it would have been challenging for her. Understandably, the Valor family focused their search on the church where Xenia had been found in 2020 and on other churches in the area. And since they thought she could hide during the day and walk in the night, they put together bags filled with water and cookies, placing them in the churches nearby, hopeful she may use them. Xenia took her phone when she went away from home. Her phone wasn't connected to a phone carrier but only to Wi-Fi. The detectives tried to pinpoint her location from her computer, and they were able to find something, a pinpoint. On June the 25th, at 2:32 a.m., her phone was connected to a nearby B&B's Wi-Fi, just 2 blocks away from home in Miramonte. The owner of the B&B was away at that time, so it's assumed no one was present that night. Why did Xenia vanish? A possible theory is that maybe she may have come in contact with someone online who convinced her to leave, but honestly, I find this theory hard to believe. First, in the months leading up to her vanishing, things started to shift for Xenia. She became very isolated, spending much of her time alone in her room, not going out, and this behavior was noticed by her mom, of course. In a nutshell, if she had met someone online, maybe a friend or even a boyfriend, she would have showed signs of change in her personality. In fact, her mom explained that when she had friends, she was very happy and would talk to her about that. And this scenario doesn't seem to fit at all to me. In addition to that, on her social accounts like on Instagram, there seems to be nothing to suggest she was making new friends other than just commenting and liking some random posts, which is totally normal. Even by Gabriel's account, Zin is dead. This wasn't the case. There's zero evidence pointing to the fact that she might have met someone online who took advantage of her. Her mom was able to access her Instagram account, but as said earlier, nothing out of the ordinary emerged. The police had little access to her electronics due to the fact her phone was not super updated and would only connect to Wi-Fi. Of course, anything is possible, so yeah, chances are she might have met someone, but she wasn't a very sociable person. Plus, there's no solid evidence available supporting this theory. This looks like a mystery, considering that not a single camera in the neighborhood was able to capture Xenia. Take into consideration she vanished in the dead of the night, around 2:30 a.m., so that time of the day doesn't seem to help either, also because many cameras installed in the neighborhood aren't of high quality. Despite the dead hands the Valera family met, the Maris and Gabriel still don't give up looking for their missing daughter. The Maris has been reaching out to social media in hopes to spread awareness about Xenia's case and find the right person willing to help out. And she met two other women who proposed themselves to support her. So, with their help, a Facebook page was created, and it's amazing to me. I mean, it's great she has found two people who were so kind hearted to help spread the word on social media about this young girl. The page is called Find Zyanya Valora. In these regards, not only do they share updates and information about the case, but the page also aims at clarifying that Zyanya is not a runaway by any means. In fact, people with autism should be treated in a different way, of course. There is much concern on her because she is in danger. Depression and anxiety play a role in this case too. Many have commented on social media she just took off. Being an adult, she was free to make her own choices. And yeah, but I would like to warn you guys that we've been dealing with a different case scenario here. The Mary's worries Xenia might have been abducted due to the fact she comes off much younger than her actual age, 22 years old. She's naive and she couldn't defend herself. Robin Newberger and Barbara Amador have remained consistent in their efforts to share Xenia's story and support the family. From what I was able to gather, a person came forward to Barbara saying that he allegedly saw a young woman resembling Xenia's physical appearance at a bus station, and that she was spotted with a 30-year-old man who was trying to keep her quiet. One detail which stood out to me is that the young woman didn't have any shoes on, like Xenia. The community has been helpful toward the family, and many flyers were posted to widen the range of people who might have seen her. The Maris said, quote, "We were blessed to know that all of us are together," unquote. Gabriel and the Maris have scoured the area on their own, looking at rivers in the area, and have spoken to some homeless people. It's very important to keep the case still alive. The family has done a very good job at it. In this regard, I truly believe social media can become a powerful tool for cases like this. There are no words to express what our family has been through, especially since 2024. The pain, the fear that Xenia could be in danger. I really hope that this video might be helpful and Xenia could come back home safe with her loving parents sooner than later. June the 25th, 2025 is marked 1 year since Xenia went missing, and since then there have been social media campaigns, newspaper coverage, interviews on television, and even an episode of The Vanished was aired. The marriage holds on to memories of spending time with her daughter, just quality time, watching movies. That's something they really bonded over. Xenia's favorite one was Guardians of the Galaxy. Xenia is 5 feet tall and weighs 90 pounds at the time of her disappearance. She has black hair, brown eyes, and a mole underneath her left nostril. The Valora family is offering a $50,000 rewards for the successful location and physical recovery of Xenia. If you have any information about Xenia's disappearance, please contact the Ventura County Sheriff's Office at 805-654-9511. You can remain anonymous. If you feel more comfortable sending an email, also anonymously, please contact Ventura County CrimeStoppers.org and you can submit your tips there. That's the end of the video, guys. Thanks for watching and let me know if you heard of this case before. See you in the next episode.